All right, everybody, let me get a couple of more things situated and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, again, like I said, this is Cody Graves. This is the second webinar in our pre-boot camp training. We're going to start our boot camp. For those of you that missed last week, we're going to do a little recap starting off, and then we're going to get into the topics that we have tonight. But I just want to say congratulations again for being here. If you've made the decision and this is your second week of seeing this information, what we're doing if this is your first time is we're basically just giving you some basic trainings to lay the solid foundation before we start our boot camp, which is going to start at homecoming. Actually, it's going to start immediately following homecoming, but homecoming is kind of the launching pad for this whole boot camp that we're going to be doing throughout the entire summer. And it's going to go from the end of our homecoming event all the way to our Las Vegas Kayani International event. So we're calling this the Summer of Cash, the Team Fusion Kairos Boot Camp, whatever you want to call it. But what we're doing in the first couple of weeks leading up to our launch, which is going to be right after homecoming on June 4th, I believe is the date of that. We're giving you guys some foundational stuff, some solid things that you need to be able to run this business, and some things that you need that you don't need to be wasting your time with once we hit the ground running when we start our boot camp. So last week we went over DMO, daily method of operation, tracking numbers, and goal setting. These are all things that you have to be able to do to run a successful business, because this business in Kayani and Team Fusion Kairos is a real business. And a lot of people have the misconception that it is a hobby, or they treat it like a hobby. Maybe they have the perception that it is a real business, but they treat it like a hobby, and they don't actually do the things that they would do if they ran $1 million business. Imagine if you had $1 million, you had to go to a bank and get $1 million, or somebody gave you a loan in your family or friends, or you got investors. Somebody gave you $1 million to start the business of your choice. How hard would you work to recover that money? You would probably work day in and day out, sun up to sundown and then some, to make your business happen, because you know that you have to pay back that money. I always say the good thing about this business is anybody can do it, and the bad thing about this business also is that anybody can do it, because it is relatively cheap when you talk about starting a business. It's the cheapest way you can get into business that I know of. So it's very important that we treat it like a business, and giving some of these foundational things can help you get the mindset of treating this like a business. Every successful business tracks their numbers. Every successful business has a daily method of operation. Every successful business does goal setting. They set their monthly goals or their weekly goals or their daily goals. Why should this be any different? So I'm going to run over really briefly what we went over last week to kind of get you all caught up. If this is your first time seeing this. I'm sorry, give me just 1 second. I thought I muted everybody out, but I'm getting a lot of background noise.
Where's the boy going?
All right. I think somebody.
You have some friends, Linda.
Somebody is talking. If you're listening to this and you're talking, I don't know why it's not working, but I muted everybody out. But for some reason, I'm still getting somebody coming through. I'm going through the list here. Give me just 1 second, trying to find out who might be talking. Okay, I guess it stopped. But guys, please mute yourself. I tried to mute everybody, but you're getting through for some reason. But go ahead and mute yourself if you haven't already. That way we don't have any distractions, any background noise. Thank you so much. All right, back to where we were. We're going to go over briefly what we went over last week. So it's recap time. A daily method of operation, or your DMO, you're going to hear this term a lot. It's your daily schedule that lays out how you should allot your time, the time you're devoting to your business. Keep in mind that you have to find what works for you. Staying consistent is the most important thing. So basically the recap on that whole statement is that you can do this business part-time, but you can't sometimes. You have to do a little bit every day and remain consistent. And the way that you do that and ensure that you're remaining consistent is that you set up a daily method of operation for yourself. I suggest doing it one of two ways: either devoting a certain amount of time, like 12 to 1 each day towards working this business, or having the daily method of operation of how many people you're going to reach out to that day. I was listening to the podcast MLM Nation, and the guy that runs it, Simon Chan, he has a really good thing that he says. He says, his daily method of operation is 5 by 5 by 3. So he reaches out to 5 new people every day. He follows up with 5 people every day, and he does 3 presentations every single day. So that's his daily method of operation. So do whatever best fits into your schedule. Everybody's is going to be different, but those are the suggestions that I made last week to kind of get you in the right mindset to coming up with a daily method of operation that works best for you. So plan your day and work your plan. People who don't plan can plan to fail. So what that means to me is that if you don't set a plan for success, your default plan is failure. So you have to plan to be successful. You have to have a daily method of operation. So plan your day, and it's going to help your business out tremendously. Your DMO is only as powerful as your ability to consistently adhere to the schedule over a long period of time without deviation. This is a critical part of becoming successful in network marketing. So you have to follow the plan, but you can't do it for just a day or a week or even a month. You have to do it over a long period of time, and it's going to start working out for you. So it might work soon, and it might work later, but the key is you have to remain consistent for a long period of time to actually give this a fair shot. So just like creating a workout schedule, you are most likely to stick to it if you create something that you can be consistent with. So again, this is all about you and what fits best in your schedule. So examples of DMO, you can kind of look at this, screenshot it if you want to, but this is for part-timers. You can do this Monday through Friday, 1 hour a day, and then on weekends, 5 hours collectively. So that's a total of 10 hours a week. And I'm here to tell you guys that is enough time to build this business. You might not think that it is, but it definitely is if you're allotting your time correctly. So here's a good breakdown of how to spend that hour that you spend every Monday through Friday, how to do that and break that down successfully. So you can do 45 minutes of income producing or income bringing activities. You can do 5 minutes of practicing scripts and presentations and 10 minutes of personal development reading and network marketing skills training. And then over the weekend, you can allot that time however you feel necessary. But those are the 3 components that you want to fit into your allotted time. Remember, income producing activities are those activities that either directly build your customer base or build your organization. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And the term that we use is IBA, income bringing activity. There's a lot of things that you can do that might seem like you're busy and that you are doing something good, but unless it's an IBA, then it's not really adding to your business. So you want to spend 80% of your time doing IBAs, and then you want to spend the other 20% growing and learning. All too often we have those numbers switched up. A lot of people, most people actually getting into this business have those numbers reversed. They spend 20% of their time on income bringing activities, if that, and then they spend 80% of their time trying to learn and doing personal development, and learning the comp plan and doing all these things. So flip those numbers if that's you. You want to spend 80% of your time doing income bringing activities or IBAs, and then 20% of your time doing growth activities or personal development. So what is an income bringing activity or an IBA? 3-way phone calls, 2-on-1s, home meetings, home parties, bringing a guest to a DFY, getting someone to watch the webinar, getting customers, getting someone registered for the international event, launching new reps, conditionally launching new reps, meaning a true launch is helping a new rep complete IBAs. So if you're not completing IBAs with your new rep, it's not considered an IBA for yourself either. So basically an IBA is anything that can bring income into your business immediately. Now, there are obviously some things that are not considered IBAs that might be a little bit confusing that you might perceive as IBAs. So starting a conversation with a new potential prospect is not an IBA. Sending a webinar and having them actually watch it, that is considered an IBA. So if the final step in the process of the activity that you do could lead to somebody either joining your business as a distributor or as a customer, then that can be considered an IBA. If it's a setup to an IBA, then it's not an IBA. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, get with your upline, get with one of the members of the Team Fusion Kairos IT group. We'll be able to help you out with what is actually an IBA and what is not an IBA. So here's a cool little acronym called SMART. This is how to do successful goal setting. So you have to have your goals. You know, I always use the analogy of a GPS. So there's 2 things you need to know for a GPS to be successful. You need to know where you are right now, and that's why tracking your numbers is important. And you also need to know your final destination for the GPS to be able to work for you. If either one of those things is missing, the GPS will not work. You'll never get to your destination. So we've gone over kind of how to track your numbers and the importance of that and goals. And now we're going to get into goal setting. So now we know where we are if we track our numbers, and we got to know where we're going. And that's why goal setting is so important. So the acronym SMART is really awesome. So S stands for specific, the description of specific, exactly what it is you want to achieve in your business and to what extent. A good objective statement or goal should answer the questions which, what, who, where, when, and why. The M stands for measurable. You need to be able to track your progress and measure the outcome. A good objective statement should answer the questions how much or how many. A is action oriented. Say what you're going to do. A good objective statement should describe a result. The R in SMART stands for realistic and relevant. The objectives should be challenging but realistic and also relevant to your business. Objectives may appear optimistic initially, but as you develop strategies to achieve them, they become realistic. So you want a goal that's gonna push you a little bit, that's gonna stretch you, but you also want to be able to grow and learn things towards achieving those goals over a period of time. And then the T in SMART stands for time-based. Objectives should include a time limit. A good objective statement should include by when do you want to achieve your results. So you know how to, so by doing this, you know how to reverse engineer your goals by keeping track of your numbers. And again, this is just a recap. If you want to hear the full presentation, the full training on this, we're going to actually post, I think Heidi started a YouTube channel, and we're going to post all of these Zoom presentations on the YouTube channel. So we'll get to that here in just a second. But if you know all these things, you can reverse engineer your goals. So this business becomes predictable. It's not guesswork anymore. You know exactly how many people you need to contact to achieve a certain rank or a certain goal. So plain and simple, you cannot scale a business without knowing your numbers. If you aim for nothing, you will hit it every time. I love that quote. So you have to have goals. You have to have things that you're shooting towards, because if you're just out there and you're not really going towards anything, you're going to miss, you're going to hit that every time. You're going to get nothing. So if you're not going towards anything, you're going to hit nothing every time. So without vision, people perish. It says that in the Bible, the greatest book ever written. So there is some truth to it for sure. So you have to have vision, you have to have goals, or you're not going to make it. So I know Heidi is working on probably right now the Kairos IDA tracking and goal sheet. I know it's we said it would be out in a couple of days on last week's Zoom, but we're working on it and trying to make it perfect so we have something that we can all go on and something that really helps our business. So again, keep a lookout for that. Okay, so here it is. Subscribe to Kairos Diamonds on YouTube. So all you have to do is log on to youtube.com, and then in the search bar, type in Kairos Diamonds, and then you can subscribe to that. And then the last week's training will be on there. Last week's bootcamp prep session #1 is on there already. I actually didn't record the one we listened to last week, but I had to go back and re-record it. So that will be on there now for anybody to be able to get on. If you missed last week, you'll be able to get on there and hear the full presentation of what we just recapped. So get on to youtube.com, search Kairos Diamonds, and then hit the little red subscribe button, and you should be subscribed. And then that way you'll be alerted when we load anything onto to that as far as the bootcamp goes, or any training videos or anything that we feel will be relevant towards helping you with your bootcamp. So again, down there also the DMO sheet will be released tomorrow. Okay, so Heidi said it will be released tomorrow. And like I said, she's probably working on it right now as we speak. But I just want to give a shout out to Heidi real quick. She's the one that does all these slideshows and stuff for us. So I'm just the one delivering the content. She's the one actually organizing it and putting together all this stuff behind the scenes. So that's something that's definitely not my strength. So shout out to Heidi, and thank you for all that you do for every single person on this team. So the only thing that follows work is results, you know, and that was kind of what we left off last week with, is you have to actually put these things into place and start doing them for them to actually matter in your business. So Mr. Casey Salgi did amazing training on one of our calls a couple of days ago, I believe our Sapphire call, and he said, you know, knowledge is not power. I'm sure we've all heard that phrase, knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. It is absolutely not power. It's potential power, but it has to be knowledge plus application that equals power. So just getting all this knowledge and learning all these things isn't going to do anything. You actually have to apply them into your business for them to actually work for you. So now we're going to get into our trainings for this week. We're going to start off first of all with social media training. And I think that this is something that definitely needs to be addressed, because there's so many people that are doing it wrong. There's a right way and a wrong way to do social media. So we're going to touch on social media first, and then we're going to get into the psychology behind recruiting and really the reasons why we do some of the things we do in recruiting. But first, like I said, we're going to get into social media. So my opinion is social media can be your best friend in this business. It can help boost you to levels that you couldn't even imagine, but it can also be your worst enemy if done wrong. And it can completely destroy your business before it even gets started. You know, social media is a relatively new thing, so people are still trying out, people are still trying different things and figuring out some of the power behind social media. But I do see all too often in our company and other companies that people just simply are doing it wrong. And I don't know who they're being coached by. Maybe they're not being coached by anybody. Maybe they're just doing it on their own. But we're going to go into some of the ways that we found it successful to do social media for your business, to really help your business grow and not hinder your business or really destroy your business before you even get it going. So some of the do's and the don'ts. So the do's, you want to post lifestyle. You want to post things about your business, about success, motivational quotes. Strategic product placement is key. Talk about how excited you are. Post pictures of what you want, your dream board, etc. Post pictures at events, at team outings, with mentors, etc. So basically, in your social media, you want to pique people's interest. You want people to wonder what you're doing. You want people to ask questions about how are you able to live the lifestyle that you're living. Why did this person make a change? Why are they all of a sudden posting all these motivational things? What is it in their life that they're doing that is making them turn towards this positive? So those are some of the things you do want to do. Some of the things you don't want to do, and I think this is more important than the things that you do want to do, is the things that you don't want to do. You do not want to spam your profile. People subconsciously don't want to see that. Instead, use the 1 out of 5 rule. So you want to make 1 out of every 5 posts that you make, maybe something about your business, if that. And that's being very generous, I think. 1 out of 5 is being a little bit generous, depending on how often you post, of course. But make it at least your rule. 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 posts for you should say something about Kayani. Number 2 on the don't complain or post anything negative. No political views, no polarizing views, etc. Try to stay neutral and out of the drama. Now, whether you agree with that or not, if you want your business to grow through social media and you want that to be kind of a billboard for your business, you can't cut out half the people. So even if you do have some polarizing political views, don't post them on your social media. At least don't post it on the social media that you're going to use to grow your business too, because you're going to immediately be eliminating half of the people on your newsfeed from even caring what you have to say. Or they're probably just going to stop following you if you have too strong of views on anything like that. So try not to post anything negative. Don't post any polarizing views. Things that people are buttons, I guess, really. Don't post anything about that on one side or the other. Don't post inappropriate pictures. I think that should go without saying, whether you're in Kayani or not. Don't post inappropriate pictures. Your social media is your billboard of yourself. So whatever you post on your social media, that's what people are going to think about you. Don't post any of your links, webinars, etc. That simply just does not work. To give people the information, you have to reach out to them personally. Do not post asking people to join your team or become your customer, or I'm looking for 3 to 5 new people to join my team, or I'm looking for these people to join, or if you're looking for additional streams of income, hit me up. Please don't do that. People don't like to be sold. It's best to reach out to people. We are in the people business. So it's best to reach out to people. We are in the people business. We're not in the spamming business or anything like that. So please stop posting. We're looking for 3 to 5 new people, looking for somebody to try my product, looking for this, looking for that. I have never in my 2 years in Kayani seen that work. You usually see those posts and you see 1 like or 2 likes or 3 likes maybe, and that's it. And they've been up for a day or 2, and one of the likes is yourself. Please, please, please stop doing that. It is deterring people, if anything, from paying attention to what you're doing. Because the reason why we don't want to post on social media like that is because everybody else does it. Every other company does it. I hate to throw companies under the bus, but Rodan and Fields is really, really bad about it. I have somebody on my newsfeed that I went to high school with that does Rodan and Fields, and literally 10 to 12 posts a day about Rodan and Fields, about what the products do, about joining the team, about this, about that. No lifestyle posts, no nothing. It's all Rodan and Fields. It looks like Rodan and Fields threw up on her Facebook and Instagram page. So please do not be that person. Nobody wants to see that. A couple of things to remember about social media. You don't have a brick and mortar business, so your social media is how people view your business. Make sure the outside of your business or billboard is inviting and it stands out. Guys, I'm getting some background noise. I'm not sure if maybe somebody's logged into this Zoom account, but if you're hearing this and you're not on mute, please mute it. Okay, I think it's gone. Thank you so much. So the only thing that people are going to see is through your social media page. So that's your billboard. Post consistently and be interactive. The more interactive you are, the more likely your posts are to pop up on somebody's newsfeed according to your social media algorithm. So I don't know if you know this, but if you post on Facebook, and I think it's the same with any social media, your whole entire friends list does not see every post that you have. So you have to have interaction with people. The more people you interact with, the more people that are going to see your posts. So you have to be interactive, liking people, commenting on people's posts, replying if they comment on yours, reaching out to people through Messenger. All of that's LinkedIn, and it all creates some sort of crazy algorithm that they have figured out But basically, if you want more people to see your posts as far as lifestyle or motivational quotes and stuff like that, start being more interactive with people on their posts. You know, we can keep up with people that we haven't seen in a long time. So social media is a great tool to find and catch up with people. So it's a great way to get back in touch with people that you haven't been in contact with in a long time. You know, I even have people sometimes that are like, oh, I don't have a Facebook, so I don't know if I'll be able to do this business. And for those people, I say, you're in the best position out of anybody if you don't have a Facebook, because now you can start friending a bunch of people, and now you can say, hey, I'm new to Facebook. How you been? I didn't realize this was such a big thing. I didn't realize what I was missing, and I'm a little late to the party, but how have you been? I haven't seen you since high school. It gives you an automatic in towards contacting people. So if you have people that are telling you, hey, I don't have a Facebook page, or I don't have this or that, then you say, great, time to get one. And that's even better because it gives you an in to start talking to all these people. So because we can use it as a tool to catch up with people, you want to make sure that what you have on your Facebook page is motivational, is relevant. Okay, so remember, this is a people business. You still have to reach out and connect to people. You can't expect posts to drive traffic. So posting is the proof of your business, not the work. So it's a tool, you know, and I always tell people, use anything that we have as a tool. You can use your social media as a tool. You can use the webinars as a tool. You can use all of these different things as tools, but it's not going to do the work for you. So all these different tools is kind of like you going to the store and buying a hammer because you want to nail something. You know, the hammer, once you get it home, the hammer is not going to, you know, float into your garage and start hammering the nails for you. You actually have to do the work. You have to hammer the nail. And you know, the nails aren't just gonna automatically appear either. So the nails are the people that you're going to talk to. You know, you have to use the hammer on the nails, but you have to go out and find the nails. You have to go out and purchase the hammer, and you actually physically have to use the hammer to nail the nails. And another thing, another part of this analogy is when you were a kid, I don't know if you ever tried to nail something with a hammer when you were a kid, but your parents probably didn't let you until a certain age. Why? Because it takes a little bit of practice to hit that nail on the head every time. And I'm sure anybody that's nailed anything has had a smashed finger or two. So you're not good at it when you first start, right? But you have to keep nailing, and you're going to get better the more you do it. So then you start seeing people that are in construction that can simply just hit the top of a nail and drive it home with one swing every single time all the way down the line because they practiced over and over and over again. So use this as a tool, but don't expect it to do the work for you, just like any other tool that we have. So this is some examples of good Facebook profiles, or looks like a LinkedIn profile. So it's very professional, has professional pictures, has good descriptions of what they do, all these different things. So this is what you want yours to look like. This is what you don't want yours to look like. And these are hilarious. Like if you have things like this on your social media accounts, go back and get rid of them. If you have pictures of yourself 5 years ago or 3 years ago or last week partying with beers in your hands and wasted and you can't even keep your eyes open, get rid of those pictures, because the people that you're reaching out to, you might not have talked to them in a long time, and they're going to go back and look at all your pictures and look at your posts and all these different things to see what you've been up to over the years. So when you reach out to those people, that's how they're going to find out what you've been up to. They might ask you, hey, what have you been up to? But they're going to go back and they're going to start looking at different things from the past on your social media. So if your social media looks anything like this, go back and remove all those pictures, remove all those posts of you being negative, remove all those posts of you partying, all these different things, because again, this is the billboard to your business. So the ugly. This is something I see a lot, and you know, it just should not happen. You don't want to be condescending to people on social media. You don't want to argue with people. You don't want to try to prove your point on a post and have a million comments on a post. And you just want to take the high road in every situation when it comes to that. You're not gonna change anybody's mind by saying, oh, well, you think it's a scam, well, your job is a scam, or whatever. You don't want to say anything like that, because that's just going to prove their point that you know, that this is not what they want to be involved in. And then other people are going to see that, and they're going to be like, oh man, I don't want to get involved in this industry, because they're arguing back and forth and calling each other names and being very condescending on their Facebook feeds. And I don't want to be a part of anybody's business that's going to treat other people like that. Whether the person was being condescending to you first or not, you don't want to be condescending back, because that shines a negative light on you and them. So just let them shine a negative light on themselves. You don't have to defend your point. You don't have to defend anything about this business. You know what you have. And if you have people on your Facebook page, message them personally, and let them know what you think, and let them know, and drive the point home that way. But don't do it in the public eye, because that just shines a negative light on you. Be professional. No one likes someone who is rude. It's unbecoming and turns prospects off. More importantly, you want your page to be upbeat and positive. People are attracted to that. More likes and more visits equals more exposures. So the more people that are liking your pages, and the more people that are liking your posts, the more people that are commenting on your posts, the more exposure you're going to have for people that are just stopping by your page, or maybe people that you've reached out to that you knew 10 years ago, that you used to work with, or that you went to high school with. They're going to see that your posts are engaging and positive, and they're going to want to be a part of that. Okay, that's going to pique their interest just in and of itself, just by them looking at your page. So this is an example of good product placement. This is Mr. Marco Trevino, Blue Diamond in Kayani and Team Fusion. You can see it's a very dapper picture, debonair, whatever, but he's also got the good product placement with the Kayani in the background on the shelf. So that's just really, really good product placement, I think. Really good example of that. So that's a little bit about social media. So now we're going to kind of shift gears and go into how to master recruiting. The bottom line is, if you can't recruit in this business, you can't succeed in this business. You have to be able to recruit to get your business off the ground. Then you can learn all the other skills. You can learn about the compensation plan. You can learn all those things, but none of that stuff matters unless you become good at recruiting. So there's certain ways to do it. There are certain ways not to do it. There's many ways to do it, but you just have to learn what works best for you. So we're going to go into some of the tips and tricks, and really the psychology behind recruiting, because I know a lot of people are kind of like me. You can tell me to do something, but if you don't tell me why or how it's going to work or why it works best, I might not buy into it. So I'm going to kind of hopefully dive in a little bit deeper into the psychology behind why we tell you to do some of the things we tell you to do. If somebody were to tell me, hey, you got to do it this way, and then that's where it ends, and it doesn't make sense to me in my head, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to try to go and reinvent the wheel. So we know in this business, we don't want people to try and reinvent the wheel. We have things that work. We have systems that are in place that work very well and have worked so much for so many people. So we don't want people trying to reinvent the wheel just simply because they don't understand why things are the way they are, or the best ways to do things. So things to remember: if you don't have proof, get people in front of the proof. Do not try to convince people to get into business. Use your upline. If you are the one getting the no's, then chances may be you're not following the system. So if you have never had success in business, you've never been a part of a network marketing company, you don't know what you're doing, you have never shown proof of even 1 ounce of success in anything you've ever done, even if you have maybe shown a little bit, people more than likely are not going to follow you. They're not going, if you don't have influence over somebody, they're probably not going to follow you. So that even goes back to, if somebody used to be your boss in the past, or maybe they're your boss now, or somebody that makes more money than you, that are more successful than you, odds are they're not going to say yes to you. So you have to be a master at piquing people's interest and edifying, and then getting them in front of people that have seen success, people that they don't know. Like if you were to get somebody on the phone with me, they have no idea if I'm the most successful person they've ever talked to. It's all about what you tell them. It's about how you edify your upline. So always remember that. You should never be the one that is doing the presentation. You should never be the one, I guess the invitation and the presentation should never meet. Okay, so don't try to do it all yourself. That's why we have a system. That's why you have an upline that's here to help you. The second thing to remember, we're not farmers, or we are farmers. We're not hunters. If you chase them, they will run. So if you're a hunter, you're chasing down your prey, trying to shoot it, trying to kill it. You don't want to do that, because all prey runs. They run from you. Now you might catch some, but odds are you're not going to catch a lot. So we're farmers. We plant seeds. We let the process work. We let the system work. We plant the seeds. We water them. We give them sunlight, and we wait for those seeds to grow into plants or into food. So that's what we do. Act as a consultant. Ask the right questions and guide people towards a decision with your upline. If you ask the right questions beforehand or during, then it's a no-brainer, and you shouldn't have to hard sell people. So basically what that's saying is you want people to tell you why they want to do Kayani by asking the right questions. All sales is asking the right questions. And I know we always say this is not sales. We share, we don't sell. But I agree with that to a certain extent, but I don't agree with it to a certain extent also, because if there's an exchange of a product and money, then it's a sale, right? It's sales. So we have tools in place to make it where we don't have to hard sell people, but it is still sales. So every successful salesperson asks good questions. They find out what angle that they should approach this business from, because yes, it's all Kayani, it's all we have an awesome product, we have an awesome business, but there's different things that could pique people's interest in different ways. For instance, if I'm talking to somebody about the car program and they have no they have no desire to learn about cars, or they're not into cars at all, then I'm not speaking their language. So you have to ask good questions. You have to ask people why they're taking a look at this, or why they would want to make more money, or all these different questions that you can ask people, but you have to make sure that you can speak their language. If you don't speak their language, they're not going to understand you. Therefore, you're not going to pique their interest. So be a master at asking good questions. The next thing to remember is the SW rule. Some will, some wait, some won't. So what? Next. Can't say it enough. You got to understand, and I think this is really a common misconception that almost everybody has coming into this business or this industry, is that they try to tweak it and say the perfect thing to every single person to where they're going to pique their interest. But there is no perfect thing. Can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. There are things that can up your averages and improve your odds, but there's never going to be a perfect thing you could say to everybody. So you have to keep in mind that some will, some won't, some wait, means it might not be the right time for them, but so what? Move on to the next person. So really you want to spend 1 minute with 100 people, not 100 minutes with one person. Move fast for momentum. So if you have somebody that's interested, don't spend your entire day trying to get them the information, following up, and then waiting for their response, whether yes or no, until you move on to the next person. Once you get somebody that says, yeah, I'll watch the webinar, you should immediately be contacting 5 to 10 new people right after that. Once you send the webinar to that person, contact another 5 people and see if you can get another webinar sent. You want to continue to fill your pipeline. You want to have people at different stages of the process in your pipeline. So you want to have multiple people that just sent an initial message. You want to have multiple people at that part of your funnel. You have multiple people saying that they want to watch the webinar. You want to have multiple people that are watching the webinar. You want to have multiple people that have already watched the webinar. You want to have multiple people that you're following up with. You want to have multiple people that you've already set up next exposures with. So you want to have people at every single level of your pipeline. And if you wait for one person to fall all the way down each level of the pipeline and they say no, now you're starting back over and you just wasted a day or two, more than likely, of your time, when in actuality you should have had, 50 people that you're talking to. And then when that person says no, you don't care, because you have so many people that you're following up with at different parts of the process that it doesn't matter if that one person said no. You forget about it right when they send you the text message. You say, okay, great. If you change your mind, let me know. Then you move on to the next person. It's all about speed. Move fast for momentum. So it's a pipeline, like what I was just saying. The process. So the process of inviting. Here's kind of a little bit deeper into that process. So number one, you want to peak, not present. Be a 30-second commercial and get them in front of the proof as quickly as possible. So if you're ever watching TV and you see a trailer to a movie, they give you all the highlights. They peak all the things. They put all the things on there that are going to pique your interest, so you go watch the full movie, right? They don't put the full hour and a half movie on TV in between while you're watching your show. Like, they just don't do that. They pique your interest and they get you wanting to know more. And then typically with movies, they have a quick trailer that they play on TV. And then if you go log on or search it, they have a little bit longer trailer that's like a minute or two. That would be your webinar. And then they have the full movie, obviously. So you get a little bit more information, and then that piques your interest even more. And then you want to go and to watch the full movie. So they didn't make any money off of you watching the commercial. They don't make any money off of you watching the full trailer. They make money off of you going and actually purchasing the movie ticket and watching the movie. So there's a lot of work that has to be done before you actually see a result, before they actually see a result. And the same thing with Kairos. So number two is you want to send them a link or the info. Do not send any info until you have confirmed that they have time to watch it right now. So this is another common misconception, or another mistake that I think a lot of people make, is they ask someone, hey, started something new. Are you looking to make extra money? Not sure if this is going to be for you or not, but I know this is amazing. Based on the information that I saw, I want to get you involved because I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to take this to the top. Do you want to check out the information? Sure, yeah, you can send me a video. Okay, great. Here's the link. Check it out. Let me know what you think. How many people know how that's going to go? They're going to get busy. They're not going to ever check it out. It puts you in the position of chasing them, and then you become annoying after you follow up with them time after time after time. And you just don't want to put yourself in that position. It just does not work time after time. I've seen it happen, and it just does not work. I've even done it myself time after time, and it just does not work. So you have to confirm a time. So what you want to do, once they say, yeah, you can send me a video, I'll definitely check it out. Okay, great. When would be a good time where you have about 10 to 15 minutes of undivided attention that you can give to this video? And then I'll go ahead and send it over to you. I don't know, 7 o'clock tonight, I should be able to do it. Okay, great. I'm going to call you at 6:55, or I'm going to text you at 6:55, make sure it's still a good time. Then I'll shoot the link over to you, and then I'll give you a call after it's over. Sound good? Okay, great. Sounds great. right? Because I've done it. It's not like people have the intention of not watching it or going back on what they said. Oftentimes that's not the case. But you just simply get busy, and it's not a priority to people because they haven't seen the information yet. They're not as excited about it as you are. You have to understand that they're not excited about it at all until they see the information. So you have to understand that they're not going to make it a priority in their life. And odds are, as soon as they get off the phone with you, or as soon as they return that text message, or they see the link in the text message, they've got 10 other things going on at the same time, and they're going to immediately forget about it. So it's not like they had the intent of not watching it. They had the intent of watching it, but they just simply got busy and they forgot about it. And they never got back to it. So you got to make sure that you're confirming the time. You got to make sure that you're following up and making sure that they're still available at the time. So another thing is, if they say they can watch it at 7, don't just send the link at 7. You got to get with them before that and set it up and say, hey, are you still available to watch it? Because something might have come up in their life, or they might have forgot about it, and they might not actually be where they thought they were going to be at 7 o'clock. So you have to confirm and then reconfirm, and then send the video and then follow up after the video is over. So then you want to edify your upline or edify the video. Whatever tool you're going to use, you want to edify that. So the most forgotten but most important step is edification. Looking for something if you're using a video. So you just want to make, kind of like what I was saying before, like the person that you're talking to has no idea if your upline is the most successful person that they've ever talked to. You have to give them the perception that this person can change your life, but you have to give them your attention for 5 or 10 minutes. And then the fourth part of the process is expose. So expose them through a 3-way call. Expose them to a home meeting or party, a done-for-you event, a product sample, whatever the case may be, however you're going to expose them to it. So that's kind of an example of different stages of the pipeline that you want people to be in. You want multiple people in the pipeline. That's how you run it. That's how you blow up in this business and create massive momentum. So the most important thing to remember is we do this business from one exposure to the next. Never leave one exposure without setting up the next one. So if you reach out to somebody, expose them, and you don't set up from the last exposure, you're going to lose them 9 times out of 10. You're going to lose that person. So we build from exposure to exposure, from me to expose them and send them the webinar. You follow them afterwards. Ask them the basic questions. What did you like best about that? First of all, ask them if it made sense. Because sometimes it just doesn't make sense and they don't know what to say. So ask them, say, hey, did you check it out? Yes, I did. I just watched the webinar. Okay, did all that information make sense? Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Okay, great. What did you like best about it? I don't know. I really like the fact that you can make money from home. Great. That's what I liked about it too. That's really why I got involved in this business as well. Now, do you see an opportunity for yourself should be the next question. Yeah, I do, but I have some questions. Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and set up a 3-way phone call with my mentor. I just got started in this business. I want to make sure that all your questions are answered. I'm a huge fan of making sure people know what they're getting into. And I want to make sure all your questions are answered 100% with the right information. I don't feel like I can do that at this point in time because, like I said, I just got started, or I'm still learning the information. But the guy that I'm working with that's teaching me how to do this business can answer your questions 100%. Can we set up a phone call, or let's set up a phone call for tomorrow? When would be the best time, 12 or 5 or whatever? You should have that pre-planned with your upline to make sure when they're available. So always set up exposure to exposure to exposure. So now let's say you get on a 3-way phone call with your mentor. They answer all the questions. Still not ready to join the business. They don't feel, be sure you phone call. Don't give me more questions, whatever. They're never going to get back to you, okay? So set the next exposure. Maybe get them to a meeting at that point in time, a done-for-you model meeting, or get them set up on the Monday night team call where they're going to hear testimonials from people that have done this business and been successful in it. So always set up the next exposures, okay? And the portion is in the follow-up, guys. If you don't follow up with people, you might as well not reach out to them in the first place. You might as well not send them a video in the first place if you're not going to plan on following up with them at least 5 times. So here's some graphs right here and there. These are sales statistics, general sales statistics. This is not Kairos related. It doesn't have anything to do with network marketing. These are general sales statistics. So if you look over on the one on the left, 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 2%. So 2 out of 100 people that watch your video are going to sign up immediately right after that. 2 out of 100 people that agree to watch the video are going to sign up right after watching the video. So you're leaving a lot of things on the table if you don't follow up. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. So second exposure, you're going to get another 3%. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. So third exposure, you can plan on, at this point in time, if you're only planning on following up 3 times, you can plan on having a 10% closing ratio based on the people that say that they're going to watch the video. And then on the 10% of sales are made on the 4th contact, 80% of sales are made on the 5th, 12th contact. So you see this before, and still most people don't do it. Why do most people not do it? Do they not believe it? If you don't believe it, you better start believing it, because you're leaving a lot of growth in this business. You're leaving a lot of money on the table if you're not following up with people. So don't reach out to them in the first place if you don't have a solid plan in your head that you're going to follow up with them at least 5 times before you stop contacting them. So a follow-up could be exposing them again, or exposing them multiple times. Or if they say they're not interested, you should still follow up with them. Maybe not follow up with them the next day, but plan on following up with people throughout the course of your journey with Kayani. And we're going to get into that on the next slide on when good times are, or here in a couple of slides on when you should follow up with people if they're not interested immediately. So you can see down here on the bottom of the left-hand graph, 48% of salespeople never follow up with prospects. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. So what is that? 48, 60, 85% of people in sales don't even get to the 5th exposure, which is where 80% of the sales happen. So there's something that's not happening. There's the successful people follow up. I mean, that's just the bottom line that we can get from the information that we're seeing is successful people follow up. And if you're not following up 5 times, maybe that's the reason why you haven't seen the success you're looking for in Kayani. It's in fact, you haven't seen the success you're looking for in this business. So the progression of sales, you can see over here, you have a prospect, contact number 1, 43% of salespeople have given up. Now it says over here 48%, so it's somewhere in the 40s. Contact number 2, 68% of salespeople have given up. Contact number 3, 80% of salespeople have given up. Contact number 4, low-hanging fruit here. So you might get low-hanging fruit, or the people that might not be the best at Kayani at contact number 4. Contact number 5, you're really getting to know the prospect and their needs, asking good questions, figuring out how Kayani can fit into their life the best, what they're really interested in Kayani. Contact number 6, you're the only one to make 6 contacts. So more than likely, they have not been contacted or followed up with 6 times pretty much ever. Contact number 7, you now own mindshare as a default choice when the prospect is ready. So even if they're not ready after that amount of contacts, when they do get ready, they're going to get back to you. So you either have a customer or a new distributor at that point in time. So even if you don't get instant gratification from this process, they're still going to come back to you when the time is right and if they are interested in the future. So again, you want to have people at different levels of your pipeline. You want to have multiple people at different levels of your pipeline so you can go back. So if it's on the last day of the month and you need that one person to hit that rank or to hit that pay gate, you can go back and be like, okay, who can I follow up with that I made it to this many exposures and maybe it just wasn't the right time for them. So then when the timing shifts, you can reach back out to them and you might have a potential distributor or customer at that point in time. So ideas for following up and when to reapproach your list. So these are times when it's best to reapproach your list, or instances in your business when it makes sense to reapproach your list or to follow up with people. So follow up when you have a win in your business, when you hit a rank advancement, when you get into the customer bonus pool, when you make your first $1,000 in the business, or when you have your first $1,000 month in the business, or whatever that milestone is for you that you can promote to people that told you no when you didn't have any success. Contact them again every win that you have. My wife Whitney is a master at this. Anytime we rank advance or make any money, or when we were moving up in the business when we first started, anytime we would rank advance or do anything positive, she would always reach out to the people that told her no and say, hey, I know it wasn't the right time for you back when I approached you the first time. And it might still not be the right time, but I just wanted to share with you that we have just hit a position of Sapphire where we're getting a paid-for car of $500 a month. So this thing really is working, and I'd love to show you how. Is it a better time for you? I understand if you're still not interested. I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that I do now have the proof, and I know that this is going to work, and I know I can help you grow in this business. Is the timing better for you, or whatever reason they told you why they weren't interested the first time? You can go back and say, hey, has that changed in your life? Would this be something you would want to reapproach? So anytime you have a win in your business, it's a great time to follow up. Follow up if you hear a good product testimony that you think might apply to that person. So if you're trying to get somebody on the product of Kayani that has health issues, if you hear a product testimony, share that with them. Or if you see a video floating around on Facebook or YouTube, share that testimonial with them whenever you are following up with them. Follow up when the prospect's timing is better. So if they said, hey, if you're reaching out to an accountant during tax season, probably not the best time to reach out to them. So follow up when the timing is better after tax season, and they're going to be much more inclined to hear you out. Follow up to say hi, just continue to build that relationship. Don't make them feel like the only reason you reach out to them was to talk to them about Kayani. So even if they tell you no or it's not the right time, still keep that relationship going, and you never know what's going to happen in the future. Follow up with skincare. We just had that release. That's something huge that we can follow up with. So if you've been in the business for a little while and people might have told you no when it was just the triangle of health, skincare is a completely different ballgame. You know, it's a completely different angle we could take at this business. So there might be some people that would be interested in promoting a skincare product, but we're not interested in promoting a health product. Follow up when they tell you to. All too often, you hear people say, "Hey, this is not a really good time for me. Follow up with me here in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to hear you out a little bit more." So write that down. Become organized. Write down when people tell you to follow up, and actually follow up with them when they tell you to. You know, don't leave things on the table that are super simple. You know, that's easy. That's given to you on a silver platter. Hey, follow up with me in 3 weeks. Okay, great. I'll follow up with you in 3 weeks. Make a note in your phone, set a reminder, whatever you have to do. And then follow up if it makes sense. You know, if none of these apply above, follow up when it makes sense to follow up. If you see somebody make a good post on Facebook, or it's their birthday or whatever, wish them happy birthday, send them a message. And I found with birthdays, it's much more effective to send messages as opposed to posting on their wall. Send them a message, say, "Hey, happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. Another year down," you know, whatever joke you want to make. And then say, "Hey, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in a while." You know, it's a really good way to strike up a conversation, really natural way to get into a conversation. So follow up when it makes sense. Resources to use when following up. Product testimonials again. Monday night team calls, pre-recorded videos or webinars, three-way calls, home meetings and home parties, product samples, Zoom meetings. So if we have a Zoom meeting for Kairos and somebody might not have wanted to go to a PBR a couple of weeks ago, say, "Hey, I know you didn't really want to go to this meeting. I don't know if it was maybe just because you didn't want to leave your house, but we're actually doing a meeting on this service called Zoom where you don't even have to leave your house. All you have to do is click on this link and you know, we'll be able to get you the information that I was trying to give to you without you even leaving your house. Can you get on at 7 o'clock or whatever?" Okay, so those are just tools you can use when following up. Things to remember. You'll still have people that don't respond to you or tell you no. That's just the bottom line. And probably you're going to have a lot more people that do this than people that respond and tell you yes. So you should always have to understand you can do everything perfectly and you're still going to have more people tell you no than tell you yes. So this business is kind of tricky, and I think this is a mindset thing that a lot of us have, and a reason why, and I've thought about this a lot, but I think the reason why a lot of people give up in this business is because it's not instant gratification. We're used to doing work, getting paid, doing work, getting paid, doing work, getting paid. With this business, you do a lot of work up front, and you might not see the result from it. You might not have anything come back to you from the work that you're doing up front, but you have to know that the work you're doing up front is going to pay off in the future. You're doing work now for the payoff in a month or two, or a week or two, or a day or two, or whatever. More than likely, you're not going to see instant gratification. So you're laying the groundwork when you first get started in this business. You're planting seeds. You literally are planting seeds. We are farmers. We're planting seeds. So we don't, you know, as a farmer, I don't know if you ever had a garden or planted anything at all, but farmers don't dig a hole in the ground, throw a seed in it, and then sit there and watch it and wait for it to grow instantly. It doesn't happen. That's not the way that it works. That's not the process. So that's not the process in network marketing either. You can't just reach out to somebody and just say, "Hey, okay, you ready to go? Ready to go? Ready to go? Ready to go?" It's a process. So you have to fall in love with the process, and you have to understand the process more than anything to be successful in this business. So if your understanding of this business is I'm going to reach out to 10 people and I'm going to get an instant yes or no, and hopefully I'm going to get more yeses than no's, then you have the wrong perception of this business. And more than likely, you're going to, since you have the wrong perception, it's not going to be what you thought it was, and you're going to end up quitting in a very short amount of time. So you have to understand what you're getting into. You have to understand how the process works. And that's kind of why we wanted to do this as one of the trainings, so you can really wrap your head around what this business really is and how the process really goes as far as prospecting and recruiting goes. You know, I love the phrase or the quote that says, in a job, you work, how does it go? I'm sorry. If you're starting a business like network marketing, you work really, really hard up front for no payoff in the end. But in a job, you get the payoff instantly, but you have to work really hard for the rest of your life. So it's up to you. It's kind of a choice that you make. You can either do the work, get paid, do the work, get paid, like working hourly, or you can put a lot of work in and maybe not see a result for a future payoff that it's going to continue to pay you over and over and over again. So it's not instant gratification. So that's something to remember, is people will still not respond to you. People will still say no, even if you do everything perfect. Phone calls are always better than text. People cannot respond to text messages. More than likely, people are not going to just hang up on you when you're talking to them on the phone. At least I hope not. And if they do, that's probably a pretty good indication that that's not the person you want in your business anyway. Another thing to remember is if they tell you to follow up, do it. Kind of like what we talked about on the list earlier, the last slide. Keep a list of all your contacts with follow-up dates. Be organized. So this is a business again. You have to keep track of things. If you don't keep track of things, things are going to fall through the cracks and you're missing out on opportunities. Since this is a business where, you're going to get more no's than yeses, you don't want to leave any opportunity to have a yes on the table. You don't want to let something fall through the cracks that could potentially be a yes. You want to up your odds of having people say yes as much as you possibly can. You want to up your percentage of closing as much as possible by doing the right things. So every little thing that you do right is upping your percentage of closing people and becoming successful in this business. So this is just like a slight edge. Slight edge is a lot of little things compounded to something great over time. This is the exact same thing. The more little things you can do right, it's going to compound into growth in this business. And then the last thing to remember is if you need help, ask. I hear all the time, I hear this more often than anything when I'm following up with distributors. Is like, hey, why haven't I heard from you? Why haven't I reached out to you? Oh, I know you're busy. I didn't want to bother you. Well, yes, that's true. Most leaders are busy because we're working the business and growing. But what do you think we're busy with? Who do you think we're busy with? We're busy with the people that reach out to us asking for our help. So if you're not one of those people that are reaching out for help, our time is being monopolized by people that are. So you've got to understand that you have to reach out to your upline leaders for help. If you've never done this before, and even if you have done this before, everybody needs help. Everybody needs people to bounce ideas off of. Everybody needs little tips or little mindset resets. Because it's hard. It's easy to get caught in your head. It's easy to think about something and think about something and think about something and tell yourself a story. And then when you tell yourself a story so many times, you start believing that story. You have to have somebody that you can go to that can give you a reset as far as your mindset goes sometimes. So if you need help, please, and I speak for every leader in this entire company in the industry of network marketing, please ask for help. You are not bothering us. And if we don't get back to you the first time, reach out again. Now, again, I can speak for every leader on this that's in Kairos and in Kyani. If we don't get back to you, reach out to us again. It's not because we are ignoring you on purpose. I can almost 100% guarantee that. For myself, I can 100% guarantee that, but I can almost 100% guarantee that for any of the leaders that are on here, that we are not ignoring you on purpose. If we are busy, sometimes we are human. We let some things fall through the cracks, messages fall through the cracks. I'm really bad about checking voicemail. If you want to reach out to me, if you call me and you leave me a voicemail, I'm probably not going to check it. So text me. and every leader has the certain things that they're deficient on and they need to get better at. So get to know your upline, find out the best way to communicate with them, how to most efficiently communicate with them, and reach out to them, please. More things to remember. In this business, and my philosophy in life really is if one person can do it, anybody can do it. That's my philosophy in life really. And when times get hard, and when I find myself saying, man, this is not going to work for me, or this doesn't work or whatever, I'm like, man, this person did it, so I know I can do it. So if someone has done it, you can do it too. It takes sacrifice in this business. And we went over that a little bit last week, but you have to sacrifice things. If you're looking to add something into your life, you have to take something out of your life. Everybody has something that fills every single second of their life. Now, whether that's productive something, that's up for debate. But even as far as TV or spending time with your kids or eating or working out or whatever, you have something that fills every second. So to add something in, you have to take something out. That's just common sense. So you have to figure out what you're going to sacrifice to be successful in this business. So where you are right now is a direct result of everything that has happened to you in the past and every decision that you've ever made in the past. So where you are right now, whether it be in your business or in your life, is because of you. And I know that's kind of harsh to hear. And I know that a lot of you are like, man, that's kind of tough pill to swallow, but it's true. Every single decision you've made and everything that's happened in your life has led you up into the point where you are right now. So if that's not favorable for you, you need to change some things up. So make the decision right now that you're going to put the effort into growing this business. Make that decision right now that you're going to change some things up. If you're not doing well in this business or you're not where you want to be, you got to change some things up. So if what you have been doing in the past hasn't worked, do something different. Next thing to remember, everything you feel is holding you back was all learned. If you don't program yourself, life will program you. And that's a quote by Les Brown. So everything you feel like people are like, well, I don't know anybody, or maybe that's not a really good example, but I'm not good at talking to people, or I'm shy, or I'm not a good public speaker, or I'm not as elegantly spoken as some of the leaders or whatever. That's all things that you've told yourself. Those are all learned things that you've told yourself. You've learned and taught yourself that you're not good at public speaking. You've learned and taught yourself that you're not good at talking to people. You've learned and taught yourself that you're shy. So everything that you feel is holding you back in this business is all learned. So that's good news, because that means that we can learn new skills. We can learn new skills to replace the old. It just takes a little bit of time and a lot of hard work. So if you don't program yourself, life will program you. The next thing to remember, when you have given all you have and it's still not enough, you must do what is required. So if you feel like you've given 100%, you feel like everything that you have is not enough, then it's time to go learn new skills. It's time to go learn how to become better. Now, that's the beautiful thing about this business and really life in general, is that you can always learn and you can always grow and you can always get better. So if your 100% is not good right now, and that's not enough, or you don't feel like that's enough, first of all, I don't think anybody's ever given 100% in this business, or really even close. Maybe I don't want to say everybody, but most people that are listening to this have not fully given their all towards this business. That's the first thing. And that's really why we're doing this boot camp to begin with, is because you can't really say that this works or this doesn't work if you haven't really given it everything that you have. But if you are one of the rare few that have actually given it everything that you have, and that's still not enough, then you gotta switch it up. You gotta do what's required. You gotta learn new skills. You gotta reach out to people that have been successful and learn tips and tricks and figure it out. You know, what does it take in this business? Whatever it takes. You know, I love that phrase, that quote. Okay, so common mistakes to avoid in the prospecting and recruiting process. Always thinking of, or in this business in general, really, always thinking of why something won't work instead of thinking of reasons why it will. So that's kind of human nature, right? We go into things and we think of, man, that's not going to work because of this, or that's not going to work because of this, or I can't reach out to this person because of this reason. I can't reach out to this person because they don't have any money. I can't reach out to this person because somebody that's successful, they're not going to follow me. I can't reach out to this person because they're way more successful than me. But you can't think of things like that. You know, that's kind of the default for a lot of people, is they always go into any situation, they think of why it won't work instead of looking for the reasons that it will. There's just as many reasons why things will work as there are why things won't work. You just have to train your brain to look for the things and the reasons why it will work. So instead of saying, oh, well, they don't have the money to do this business, think, well, maybe they've gotten so fed up with their situation that they're willing to do whatever it takes, and they're willing to sacrifice, and they're willing to defer their car payment to get into this business and hit the ground running, and they're going to hit Ruby or Emerald in their first month because they're sick of living the life that they're living. Think about the positive. Think about the reasons why it will work. Letting unsuccessful people influence your posture. Again, there's a lot of unsuccessful people, and I'm not necessarily unsuccessful, but not as successful as we all strive to be. Average is kind of the norm. You know, average is not something to strive for. You know, so don't let unsuccessful people influence your posture. Don't let people that have not seen success tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. Don't let unsuccessful people get in your head and make you think that and make decisions for you. Sandbagging is a common mistake to avoid. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Don't wait and say, oh, well, I'm going to wait until that Zoom on Sunday to bring all my prospects to the table. Don't do that. Don't wait for that Zoom. Start inviting, but if they want to hear about it before then, let them hear about it before then. Don't wait. Don't wait till the last week of the month to get your 150 in CQV to get qualified. Don't wait. Don't sandbag. Don't fire hose people. Don't tell them all the information. Don't give them the complete rundown whenever you first start talking to them. That's not successful. Don't talk to people, or don't allow people that you're prospecting to talk to people before they've actually joined the business. So say you go to talk to somebody, they're very interested in joining. They're like, man, I'm going to do this. You got to give me a week and a half to come up with the money. This is my plan to come up with the money. I'm going to have the money by then. But I'm going to start talking to people in the meantime and start building up. I'm going to start building up my interest and building up my business. Don't let people do that. Don't let people do that. And that's kind of a little bit off topic, but don't let people start talking to people before they actually get into the business, because think about it from this angle. What if somebody approached you about a business and they said, oh, I'm super excited about this business. I definitely think you should take a look at it. Okay, cool. How are you doing? Oh, well, actually, I haven't joined yet. You know, that kind of makes them think, oh, well, this isn't as exciting as you say it is, because if it was exciting as you say it is, you'd already be a part of it and you'd already be making money and you'd already be growing your business. You know, what's the holdup? So subconsciously, it's not a good idea for people to reach out to people before they join the business. Don't miss team calls. Don't miss meetings. Don't do those are so important, because you never know when you're going to get that aha moment. You never know when you're going to hear somebody say, this is how I reached out to this person. And you might have a similar situation or somebody similar that you were trying to reach out to, and you just couldn't figure out an angle to reach out to them. And you're like, oh, okay, awesome. That's how I'm going to reach out to that person. And then they end up getting your business and they blow up. So never miss a meeting or a team call, because you never know when you're going to have that aha moment. Again, never feel like your upline is too busy. We love it when you call. Don't pass out too many samples. This is a common mistake I see people make whenever they're prospecting, is they just go and give out month supplies to everybody that they're talking to, or even 7-day trials to everybody they're talking to, without setting it up properly. You got to set it up properly. And I'm not going to get too in depth on that, but be very, very frugal with your samples. That is money that you're spending. I'm very, very limited as far as how many samples I give out to people. I have to know that they're really, really interested and need to becoming a customer distributor before I give them a sample. I think it's better to actually get them to purchase their first month, because we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So go that angle before you start passing out too many samples, because remember, that costs you money. So I've had several people be like, man, I've spent thousands of dollars and haven't seen any success. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why have you spent thousands of dollars in this business? You should only have spent your first initial startup costs towards growing your business and then samples. And they're like, yeah, well, I'm giving out samples to everybody and nobody's taking them. And, you know, I'm not getting any feedback or whatever. Yeah, because you're not setting it up properly. So that'll probably be a training that we have for a future date, but just don't pass out too many samples. And then we've already gone over posting the wrong things on social media. So what does it take to be successful in this business as we wrap up here? It takes an unshakable mindset. You can't let small people get to you. You can't let little things put you off track from getting to your goals. It takes passion and excitement. You have to be excited about this. You have to have a passion for this business. And really, that's what it takes in the beginning, is passion and excitement. You don't have to know the comp plan. You don't have to know the formulation of the products. You don't have to know the presentation front and back. You just simply have to be passionate and excited about this business, and then people will be attracted to that. You have to have goals. You have to be obsessed with this business. I always tell people, if you want to be successful and hit diamond in 3-4 months, or even 6 months or a year, you have to be obsessed about this business. You have to have Kairos insomnia. You have to have Kairos on the brain at all points in your day. You have to know, if you hear somebody at work saying, oh man, I didn't get a really good night's sleep last night, I was having trouble sleeping. Okay, well, I have something for you. If you're open to an all natural solution to that, I have something that I think really might help you. You know, can I get you some information on it? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's a pamphlet. Here's a link to a video, whatever the case may be. But you have to be obsessed with it. You have to constantly have it at the front of your brain. You have to constantly have Kion in the front of your brain, okay, to really be successful in this business. You have to be consistent. If that's the one thing I tell people in this business, if somebody's like, what's the one tip to be successful in this business? It's consistency. It's doing something every single day. It's having a daily method of operation and continuing that daily method of operation over an extended amount of time, and you will see success. You have to have a solid work ethic. You have to have excitability. You have to have people skills, and all these things can be developed. You have to have basic business skills. Again, that can be developed. And that's really what we're going over in these first couple of trainings, is just basic business skills, and not even network marketing skills or anything like that, just basic business skills that you need. You have to be coachable, and you have to be willing to sacrifice. So that's what it takes to be successful in this business. That's a really, really solid list of what it takes to be successful. So again, guys, the launching pad for this is homecoming. We're just doing these Zooms to kind of get you prepared for that point in time, but homecoming is where you're really going to get the excitement level, where you're really going to get all the information that you need to be able to move forward with this boot camp and really be able to hit the ground running. So take all this information that we're giving you in the Zooms. Again, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let me pull that up real quick again. Oops, passed it. Okay, so it's Kairos Diamonds. You want to find that on YouTube. You can listen to last week's bootcamp session about daily method of operation, tracking your numbers, and goal setting. And then we'll get this one uploaded onto that YouTube page as well. I'm not sure when we'll do that, maybe here in the next couple of days or so, but for anybody that might not have been able to get onto this, we want to make sure that they're able to hear the information as well. So that way, we're giving you all this groundwork information so you can get everything set up. You can get all the nuts and bolts set up. So whenever we say go, we're doing this blitz, all you have to focus on is contacting people and following up with people. That's all you have to focus on once we start this boot camp, and keeping track of your numbers and all that. So we want all of this stuff in place. We want you to have the basic knowledge of what you need to do before we hit the ground running. So we're doing the prep work right now. Thank you all so much for being on this webinar. We're going to do this again next week at the same time, right after the team call. We'll go ahead and say 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time is when we're going to do this next week. So that way there's not any guesswork, and we don't have to have odd times of getting on this. That typically seems to be when the team calls in for the most part anyway. So again, a couple of takeaways before we wrap up. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Kairos Diamonds. Go to youtube.com, search Kairos Diamonds, click subscribe, and then send out the link to that to anybody on your team that might have missed these 2 boot camps, and then promote for the next boot camp next week. That way we're having everybody on this live so you can hear the information as it happens. That's what we really want. We want people to hear the information as it happens. I know there's certain special circumstances where that can't happen. That's why we're doing the recordings, but really do your best to get on these as they happen. And then get your homecoming ticket if you haven't already. Not going to beat that dead horse again. I think we all by now know the importance of the homecoming ticket. If you haven't got it, obviously teamfusionevents.com. Go get your ticket. That's where we're kicking off this whole boot camp, and that's where we're kicking off the Summer of Cash. And that is really where your life is going to start changing for the better. So thank you so much for being on this webinar. I really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night. Hope everybody has a great week. And I will see you next week for the boot camp session number 3, and I believe that will be the final session before our homecoming. So again, guys, thank you so much for being on, and that will conclude our meeting.